Good evening. I call this January 12th, 2026 meeting of the York County Planning Commission to order. Our first order of business is to approve our agenda. Are there any changes? No. Since there are no changes, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. And moving on to the approval of minutes. Any discussion on last month's minutes?
I had one comment.
Please.
In some of the notes, I've been superseded by a comedian.
Yes, I saw that.
So I just wanted to make sure that we go back and correct the appropriate Segura. Other than that,
Appropriate Segura?
For clarification, the information is correct, but unfortunately, John's first name was changed in a few of the paragraphs. So we're going to have that fixed.
it's that spell check thing.
Exactly.
You're correct, though.
So with those changes, is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second,
Any discussion?
so we get it.
All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. Now moving on to new business. The first order of new business is to elect a chairperson for the 2026 year. Are there any nominations?
I will make a motion to nominate Miss Kate again.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
You need to ensure there are no other nominations first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, please. Are there any other nominations? Okay. Since there are not, and there's a motion and a second, all those in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. And moving on to election of chairperson for the 2026 year. Are there any nominations?
Make a motion for Mike as vice chair.
I'll second.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, so we will continue on as we have been. The third piece of new business for this year is rezoning 25-54. Vanessa Hengen Brustlin is the applicant, and PGM Properties LLC is the owner, requesting to rezone 3 parcels that total 6.89 acres from UD to RMX 10 and RMX 10 to GC. The subject parcels are located in RPC Road in Fort Mill, and the properties are referenced as tax map number 65500000025, 027, and 058, Council District 1.
Good evening, everyone. So this is case 2554, about 7 acres off the intersection of Pleasant Road and Highway 160, north side of Fort Mill. Here, the applicant proposes to build a self-storage facility. The applicant also owns the property directly to the south. So all 4 of those parcels would be aggregated and then used for self-storage. Here's a quick site plan of their intentions using access off of RPC Road. The building composes the major center point, and they have a stormwater pond and parking in the front and back. I have a full range of the commercial zones here between UD and GC. Again, a lot of commercial centered on the intersection, Highway 160 and Pleasant. And future land use, given that we're so close to the interstate, a lot of this is designated for I-77 corridor employment, where we look for manufacturing, distribution uses, and other business campuses. So we recommend approval of the request, despite it not being entirely consistent with the comp plan future land use map. Self-storage is a little bit less intense than expected within the designation, but a lot of the other parcels are also zone GC in the area, and the subject parcel, given the intended use as a self-storage facility, and it's offset from the roadway, limiting access and visibility, but that makes it quite appropriate for the intended use. Any questions for staff?
All right, I have a couple, real quick. If you would go back to the existing zoning map, so everything kind of to the left of that is already GC, is that correct?
That's right.
So both of these properties are exactly next to property that's already zoned GC?
That's right.
Okay, and the second question I had was, not being consistent with the comprehensive plan, it seemed to me that reading through that, it's mainly because of the amount of employment. So if we removed the amount of employment, would you all consider this consistent with the comprehensive plan? So if something was going there that was offering more employment, would that make it, in other words, is that the only thing that's making it not consistent?
Yes, the corridor employment designation is looking for business operations, obviously ones that benefit from the interstate being so close. This one doesn't necessarily do that. And certainly we are looking for kind of economic generators to fill the space. But again, you know, looking at the location, given that it is quite a bit offset from the interstate and is offset from the major roadways, something with a lower traffic is appropriate here.
Okay, and then final question, GC allows you to do a lot of stuff, but they're saying self-storage.
That's right.
So is there anything in what's been asked that's going to put any limitation to say, well, you can put anything with these type of uses within GC, but these types of uses are being forbidden? Or
I don't
what
believe
have
there are any requested deed restrictions or anything like that on the property.
you? Okay. That's the questions I've got at the moment.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
So I realize that there doesn't need to be a TIA or anything like that, but I know that from experience that RCP road basically runs between the Walgreens and kind of some office buildings. The cut through from 160 to that road between Sherwin-Williams and Walgreens, it's a horrible cut through. But there's no real stop sign there, so I'm assuming that there would be some improvements kind of where that crosses. Do you know?
A lot of that will probably get hashed out in the plan review process. Diane might be able to speak more to that.
Yeah, and just a couple of things too. I'm not too sure whether the staff report mentioned that as well, but RPC Road is going to be changing in a way that the access point onto 160, and so there will be no left turns out of that. It'll be right in, right out only where RPC intersects with 160. Yeah, cutting through there, I don't believe there will be any changes to, because I use that myself, to where that we can get between Sherwin-Williams to that other neighborhood there. They won't be doing any improvements outside of their development.
Right.
We are working with the applicant to the adjacent property just to the west to see if we can get some kind of an internal connection to be able to utilize that space there when that comes in for redevelopment onto Pleasant. So we're trying to work with some opportunities to be able to provide some more connectivity through here, but they will not be doing any off-site improvements to RPC.
Okay, I'm just concerned because I know that right now, and I don't know whose responsibility is, I think it's probably Walgreens or whoever owns that area, or I don't know, is that a county road?
RPC is a county road, I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's missing stop signs. When you're turning onto 160 and then also when you're actually going past like Walgreens, they like to over to the medical offices. So that's the
Yeah,
only
we
thing
can
I-
let them know about some potential
That's
needs.
the only
for
concern
some-
I have is because yeah,
That's valid.
that's all.
Yeah.
I mean, easy fix, but right now. Okay, awesome, thank you. Any additional questions? Is there a motion?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve and also that we pass along a recommendation to council to really look at the possible uses for GC and that they consider whether they ought to put any restrictions on that when it comes before them.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. Moving on to our last item of new business for the evening, rezoning 25-56. Alyssa Hudspeth is the applicant and Philip Long is the owner, requesting to rezone 1.86 acres from RSF 40 to RSF 30. The subject parcel is located on Spring Point Road in Rock Hill, and the property is referenced as tax map number 547-00000261, Council District 6.
Yeah, this property is in a very deep suburban space, just on kind of the southwest end of Lake Wiley. And the applicant is proposing to rezone, just going from RSF 40 to RSF 30, very similar density, very similar size, lot size requirements, but purely to allow the placement of a manufactured home on the property as the primary dwelling. You can see this property is kind of a flag lot. It has access onto a small easement there that then connects onto Spring Point Road. The zoning district is generally RSF 40, a little bit of RMX 20 to the north, and our future land use map reflects that pretty closely, with all this area being single-family residential. So we recommend approval. The designation doesn't really distinguish between RSF 40 and RSF 30. Both allow the appropriate housing types and density we expect there. The property is not part of a planned subdivision, though it is just outside of some, and the applicant does not intend to subdivide this property any further. Any questions for staff?
So RS 40 doesn't allow manufactured.
That's right.
Is there a reason for that?
No, that's been the historical, how the zoning code has always been. That district never allowed manufactured home. You can do it in RUD, and you can do it in RSF 30, but not RSF 40, which is sort of in between the two.
All right, I'll bite on the question then. What would it take to update that so that you could also do it in 40?
A text amendment to allow that use to the use chart for a manufactured home within RSF 40.
But what approvals or whatever would be needed to do that?
Similar to what you guys recently did for the tree ordinance, is you would recommend staff to be able to go and consider doing a text amendment and bring that forward to you in a future meeting to allow that use to allow that use within RSF 40.
Because if it had been, this applicant wouldn't have even needed to submit,
That's what I
right?
was
That's,
asking.
that's true, yes.
Okay.
I think that's the reason why I asked the question. What was the basis? I'm
That's,
sorry, James.
is that the only difference between RSF 30 and RSF 40 is the allowance of a mobile home, or are there any other
There's
nuances?
The lot size requirement.
Just the minimum lots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any additional questions? Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I would like to also ask that we have that investigated about making a change to RSF 40, that we could have this similar thing, since it's available in 30 and it's available in RUD, that we go ahead and permit manufactured homes at RSF 40 as well.
Well, let's vote on this, and then we can ask staff to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So a motion and a second, and any additional discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. That was a quick meeting. Any questions on the rezoning tracking sheet? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
There you